Every leader, at some point in their professional career, will inevitably face a moment where their authority is tested through blatant or subtle disrespect. It might be a roll of the eyes. No. How you respond to these critical moments will define your leadership brand more than any successful project ever could. We focus on emotional control and setting unbreakable, clear professional boundaries today. The first rule of leadership under fire is that your authority is not maintained by the volume of your voice. It is maintained by the absolute stability of your internal emotional state. When someone is being disrespectful, they are often intentionally trying to pull you into an emotional reactive state. They want to see if they can destabilize your professional focus and your control. If you get angry or become sarcastic, you have effectively handed over total control of the situation to the other person. You have weakened your own authority by being purely and visibly reactive. You prove that your emotions can be easily manipulated by someone else's poor behavior. Reactive responses are a common trap that many inexperienced leaders fall into during these difficult, high-pressure workplace moments. They feel they must defend their position immediately. However, a reactive response often looks like insecurity rather than strength. True authority is always quiet, steady, and certain in its own position. When you stay calm under pressure, you send a powerful message. Your behavior cannot destabilize me. This composure is your greatest psychological advantage when addressing any form of workplace or personal disrespect. It allows you to address the behavior from a position of power rather than a position of defense. To do this, you must master the art of the strategic leadership pause daily. When disrespect occurs, your brain will flood with adrenaline, urging you to fight back. By pausing for just 3 seconds, you allow your logical brain to catch up with your survival instincts. This pause changes the energy in the room instantly. It forces the other person to sit with their own behavior while you prepare a calculated, professional, and very firm response to them. Viewers must understand that addressing behavior is not the same as starting a confrontation. Confrontation is about winning an argument. Correction is about maintaining the high standards of the entire organization. You are not attacking the person. You are addressing the specific behavior that fell below the line. Keeping the focus on the standard makes it much harder for them to be defensive. Real workplace examples show the profound difference between reactive confrontation and professional correction. Imagine a meeting where an employee interrupts you to say your idea is a total waste of time. A reactive leader might snap back with something petty, like asking the employee to do better. This response is defensive. It creates a toxic environment and lowers your overall leadership status immediately. It reduces the leader to the level of the person who was being disrespectful in the first place. A professional correction in the same scenario sounds and feels very different to everyone present. The leader pauses, looks directly at the person, and insists on maintaining a professional tone. They set a boundary immediately and redirect the energy back to the actual work tasks at hand. They might say, "I am open to critique, but we will maintain respect." This proves the leader dictates the rules of engagement, not the person who chose to be disrespectful or rude. Setting clear boundaries is a fundamental part of leadership. You must define what is acceptable before the disrespect happens. If you allow small acts to slide, your boundaries become dangerously flexible. Consistency is key to a healthy culture. If you address a behavior once but ignore it the next time, you are being confusing. Confusion is the ultimate enemy of team-wide respect. Your team needs to know exactly where the lines are drawn to feel secure. Leaders must gain practical language they can use to ensure they always stay on track and professional. Phrases like, "I've noticed a shift in your communication style lately," are incredibly effective. They are neutral and factual. They don't invite a personal argument or a defensive emotional reaction. Saying that comment didn't align with our team values puts the responsibility back on the individual. You remain the professional observer while they must account for their own behavior and words. Accountability and fairness are the pillars of a respectful environment. When you address disrespect, you are actually protecting the rest of your team from a toxic or dismissive and harmful atmosphere. High performers become demotivated when they see a leader allowing one person to be toxic without consequence. By stepping in, you are signaling that you value the entire team's peace. You are standing up for the culture of the department. The main lesson is that your authority grows every time you choose to stay calm under intense and challenging professional pressure. People are watching how you handle the difficult moments more than the easy ones. If you can be challenged without losing your cool, their respect for you will skyrocket very quickly. You become someone who is reliable and truly in control. This is how you build a legacy of strength. Fairness also means addressing disrespect in private whenever it is physically possible. Unless the behavior is highly disruptive, the most effective corrections happen behind closed doors. This allows the person to hear your feedback without the audience making them more defensive or angry. It shows that you are interested in their growth, not in shaming them publicly. This private accountability builds a deeper, more mature relationship between you and your valuable team members. Humility also plays a critical role. Sometimes disrespect is a sign of a deeper, legitimate frustration. A great leader is secure enough to ask if there is a deeper problem involved. You can be empathetic to a person's stress while still being firm that disrespect is not the solution. Coach them on how to be a professional even during very difficult times. The transition to true leadership involves realizing you don't need to win every small battle. You don't need the last word. You only need the most professional and certain word. By letting the other person exhaust their emotional energy while you remain steady, you demonstrate maturity. This psychological maturity is a magnet for talent and respect from your own superiors. Viewers should understand that disrespect is often a test of your boundaries. If you pass the test with calm, firm communication, the disrespect usually stops because the line is clear. People learn very quickly where the lines are drawn when the leader is unshakable. You are training your team on how to treat you and each other every single day. This is the social architecture of leadership. It requires you to be intentional with every word and every reaction. Focus on the long-term health and the overall stability of the team. A leader who is afraid to address disrespect will eventually end up with a team that respects no one, but a composed leader builds a team that is resilient and loyal. They know that you will protect the standards of excellence. Remember that you are modeling the behavior you want to see. You cannot ask for respect without projecting it yourself. Every interaction is a teaching moment. Be the leader who is known for their grace under fire. It is the most valuable asset you can have in modern, complex organizational management. Take ownership of your reactions today. When disrespect occurs, see it as an opportunity to reinforce your boundaries. You are the conductor of the room's energy and the professional tempo. As you apply these techniques, difficult conversations become about alignment rather than conflict. You are aligning the person's behavior with the team's core values and the long-term mission. In conclusion, your authority is a choice you make every time someone tests your patience. Choose composure. Choose the standard over the ego. Lead with the quiet authority you truly deserve.